So Caiaphas went to Pilate and he says, can you do something about this? But Caiaphas may not have known that Pilate was contemplating crucifixion, correct?
I think Caiaphas was concerned that if there was going to be trouble, and the trouble resulted in any sort of military or forceful reaction against people who were gathered in Jerusalem for the holy days, that Caiaphas wanted to make sure that it didn't explode and the result being perhaps repression of
and this
their own authority.
And this is the way we treat troublemakers in order to gain social control. Did you find any evidence of any interrogation by the high priest or by his associates?
Well, there are two different traditions preserved in the gospel material. One is that there are one or even two full trials of the full Sanhedrin, the priests, all the chief priests, the elders, and everybody else.
What is your conclusion?
Oh, I don't know anybody who really thinks that probably happened.
So that did not take place according to what your scholarship shows, correct?
It would be a surprise.
Okay, so what we really
something else.
What?
The Gospel of John has something entirely different. The Gospel of John has no night trial. The Gospel of John, after Jesus is ambushed, simply has Jesus led to a brief conversation before Caiaphas, who asks him about his followers and his teaching, and then Jesus goes right on to Pilate. Considering how busy all the priests were at Passover in Jerusalem when the temple was standing, John's depiction is intrinsically more plausible.
Well, all of this seems to say that the blame, if that's the right word, the culpability for Christ's death that has been affixed to the Jews over the years that has spawned anti-Semitism, that is unfounded on the basis of scholarship, because the only connection between Pilate and the Sanhedrin was Caiaphas, who may have just said to Pilate, we have a problem that could be serious, and it was Pilate who ordered alone the crucifixion.
Well, first of all...
Am I getting too far ahead of you?
Well, you're blending a lot of big ideas together, but that's fun. That's okay. What I think the issue is that when you get the Jews blamed for Jesus' death, that again is an accusation that develops in the 2nd century from the way people are reading the gospel stories.
Rather than the facts.
How do people know facts? How well do we know facts now?
But you say all of your scholarship is based on facts, and the only facts you know about Jesus' death was sometime around 30 A.D., during the Feast of Passover. He was crucified under the orders of Pontius Pilate, but then the mystery turns very murky as to why he was crucified. We're on the 3rd millennium of Christianity, which is a miracle in itself. What are some of the more exotic interpretations of the Bible, beyond funk, that we can expect? And will they take hold? You want to talk about, for example, the Bible Code? We have very little time.
Well, the Bible Code tells us that in modern times, now that we have computers, we finally discovered the real Bible beneath the Bible. That is a hidden code, hidden within in equidistant letter sequences within the text of the Bible, presumably by God or some other intelligence.
Has it been discredited?
It has been, in my opinion, discredited by mathematicians and computer scientists who have explored the arguments and have found them lacking.
Do you think that traditional Christianity will survive the exotic forms that we see today?
I think the Bible will always be the most important book in Western culture, and people will always interpret it.
Jeffrey Sheila, you're born in Grand Rapids?
I was.
50 years of age, you're married, you have 2 children. You're Presbyterian, your politics are independent. Where did you go to college?
I went to Michigan State University for journalism. I went to Georgetown University for theological studies.
Did you get a degree from Georgetown?
A master's degree, yes, in liberal studies.
Liberal studies. That includes what, theology?
Theology, philosophy, yeah.
Did you teach you Shakespeare?
I managed to stay away from Shakespeare at the master's level.
Well, you'd be very comfortable over there now, because I understand even for literature majors, Shakespeare is not a mandatory subject. Would you believe that?
That's hard to
What
believe.
has happened to these Jesuits?
Who knows?
United Press International reporter who covered state and local politics in the Midwest for 8 years, Religion and Ethics News Weekly PBS series, with my good friend Bob Abernathy, right?
Right.
U.S. News and World Report, various posts, including 10 years as religion editor. And you have this book to your credit?
That's my first book.
And you're still working for Mark Zuckerman over at U.S. News and World Report?
Still am.
Okay. If I mention the name Funk to you, Robert Funk, who is he?
Robert Funk is a Bible scholar, a New Testament scholar, who is the founder and leader of a group called the Jesus Seminar. Biblical scholars who, for the last 15 years, have been exploring the historical Jesus.
Yeah. Does he have very much standing in the academic community, Paul and Frederickson?
He represents the School of Interpretation.
He is. She's also a diplomat. Well, Funk is saying some pretty striking things, and it appears as though he is off the charts, does it not? He's organized a semi-annual seminar that you speak of, and his forum debunks the sayings from the cross, the virgin birth, the resurrection, Jesus' miracles, and he sees Jesus as a sort of Jewish Socrates, almost a Lenny Bruce character, correct?
That's right.
You find no evidence in any of your scholarship, by the way, that Jesus was a revolutionary, correct?
I find counter evidence.
Counter evidence.
Yes.
He was not a revolutionary nor an insurrectionist.
Not that I can see from the documents.
Was Jesus a conservative?
I don't think so.
Well, in what sense was he unorthodox?
Well, I think that in what sense is what he's saying somehow alarming or gripping or revolutionary?
Did he support the Torah?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So he did root himself in sources, correct?
He was a Jew.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Was he not basically conservative?
Well, he was.
Go ahead.
Well, it depends on which Jew you ask, but it's, he's certainly within the penumbra of typical Jewish practice in the first century. But there's something that makes him stand out, and that's his belief that the kingdom of God is at hand.
I hate to say it, because this show is, to me at least, very interesting, very rewarding. And I want to thank you, Jeffrey Schumer. I want to thank you, Paul Frederickson. We're out of time.